All right, I guess we're going to court. It's time to fully expose Mr. Revenant Remnant before he makes a video on me Monday or Tuesday chronicling the entire situation for the Dead Space Remake critique video. What am I talking about in particular? Well, the brief synopsis is that he took an excerpt of that video, inserted himself into the conversation, and then decided to say, I was indirectly talking about him when my case for this is I was talking about hard 8 times and indirectly and directly mentioning the guy in the same video, so you can tell I changed my mind somewhere in the process. But Revenant Remnant thinks it's about him, so I just want to show you guys something real quick before he makes that video because I want him to fall on his face in a pile of spiked spaghetti. You see, this is my Discord server where I bring up any topic whatsoever directly to my users, whether it's a big time topic. We talked about the Dead Space remake critiques and we discussed them on our side, our perspective, and I decided to just mosey on into my survival horror server and type in Revenant Remnant's name because he thinks he's so important, he thinks he's being referenced. This is the big hub for me to talk shit or discuss other creators with dismay. I typed in his name. The only video that comes up is the video I did on him recently after he made his video, which is irrelevant because he's the one that sort of spearheaded this whole thing in the first place, right? Then we go to my main geek culture server where he was a part of it. He was a member, yes, when he brought that up, which is why it jogged my memory to say, who is this guy? Because originally, I didn't know who this was at first. So we had some history. He was on my podcast maybe once or twice and then faded off into the ether because he didn't like my assessment on things. And that's fine because I know I'm a very polarizing individual. I'm a very loud and very brash person. And I've always been like that. And he knows this because this is what he signed on for when he joined my server and he liked my mentality of calling people out. He's an ex-fan. I get it, right? So you should know I'm the least indirect person on the planet Earth. Otherwise, I wouldn't be I wouldn't be in your comment section calling you out. I would have just called you out initially when you made the comment on Reborn's video. It doesn't make sense for how I move, how I operate. I just decided, hey, I'm gonna Frankenstein Harday's comments together, put in this extra stuff here or there, not really think about it, whatever. So he made it about himself. Now I'm in the main geek culture server that he was a part of in the past. Let's scroll his name and see if I can find anything relating to the conversation involving him. Now this video, like I said, doesn't count because I made it after the fact, so it doesn't count. It's a response to his video. But if we go down, he really didn't get any activity. He left. He didn't get any activity. I have a member that posted about him several times and his topics, so he must be a fan of Revenant Remnant. And the last thing I said about Revenant Remnant was it sucks to suck for him since bugs really do vary. What do I mean by that? Well, that's not in relation to Dead Space, so we could throw that out. But the last time I talked about him, the last time he was ever on my radar was in 2022, where some user mentioned him and I responded with this, which is the most tame response I could ever give someone. Where's my comments about shitting on him for Dead Space? Oh, it doesn't exist. People say the server is my little safe spot, so why am I not talking about Revenant Remnant and Dead Space? I don't find that topic anywhere. Just the game bug thing, which is the most tame thing in the world. You could tell that this is an instant exposure, that I was talking about Hard 8 the whole time. Because if I search Hard 8's name, he has a lot more results. He's a lot more discussed in here. Therefore, there's a throughput of who I'm talking about. And if I go directly to the comment that I linked at the top of part 4, you will see this ensuing conversation about remakes and Dead Space and spoilers and all that shit. And you see Mr. Team Redeemer here, talking about Dead Space Remake, and who did he tag? He tagged Hard 8 times. Who is Team Redeemer? Why is he so important? He's a member of Hard 8's podcast, further proving the point that this was never about Revenant Remnant. And then if we scroll down, then there's no edits to what I was saying. I said Hard 8 also said there was no limitations for the original, which was an amalgamation of stuff he was saying podcast wise or whatever the fuck. All I know is that he was doing anything to lambast the remake and say they didn't add anything new to it whatsoever. Which I thoroughly disagree with. This had nothing to do with Revenant Remnant. This is it. This is the ensuing conversation. No edits. I didn't just come in here and type in, oh, Revenant Remnant. This is all live. Like, I didn't do any of that. That says clearly Hard 8. Hard 8. This is the conversation. And when we go back to the previous search, again, I'll show you guys this again because I have to put Revenant through preschool. The last time I ever mentioned a topic about Revenant Remnant was in 2022 of last year. And if you really think about it, this was done in my personal server. I could have shat on him. Why would I shit on someone directly and not mention him? Anywhere, not mention his tweets, not mention anything about him except for a topic from last year that was pretty tame and had nothing to do with Dead Space. It's because he's making all this stuff up. He inserted himself into the conversation. He made it all about him. He misinterpreted the goal and the point of the video, which was to shit on other creators that weren't him. If I wanted to look, here's one more thing. Here's one more thing I want to show you guys, right? Actively right now, per this comment section, his community post, I am going ham in there. Completely. It's a war zone in there, right? If I wanted to do this, if I wanted this type of attention from Revenant Remnant, why didn't I do that initially? Why? Well, I'm directly saying something to him. There's nothing indirect about this. It doesn't move right with the logic. It doesn't make sense. So that's further raising the point that it wasn't about him at all. I'm going straight in. Look at all this. Going straight in. Straight in. Look at these comments straight. No one who wants to remain indirect would do this directly at all. So it's not adding up. You see, the math is not adding up at all. And I made a video and I made another video. So if I didn't want to include his name in anything, why am I directly going at him after he made a response? It's because he inserted himself into the convo, and now we have this debate, and it's on. It's on. Cause he lied. He's going to lie to people on Monday and Tuesday. I guarantee you, he's gonna fucking lie. Stall all the Death Space stuff aside, because those are just subjective thoughts either way. Like I said in the video for part 4, everything I said about him there in terms of his opinions and interpretations on my opinions for Dead Space, I believe every word that I said. I don't give a shit personally that he has this tiff over Nicole. I don't give a shit about that. That doesn't matter in my world. It doesn't. Most of the stuff he was talking about for the game, I was tuning it out because he was so boring. All he has is politics. This comment that I said right here, you couldn't entertain a child if it wasn't for your political analytics. Laugh my ass off. Why do you think I need anything from you other than laughing at this epic fail? All of your videos are boring along with your personality. You couldn't entertain a cockroach out of the oven. So what? So why am I making so much fun of you? It's because it's funny to me that you decided to insert yourself in nothing that had no business involving you. That's why it's funny, and I'm calling it out because you're actively lying to your audience, thinking that I was talking about you the entire time when you were like a wet fart in the wind for results in the Discord server. Like we talk way more about Hard 8 in there than you. So and it was very direct, and most of those posts was from me. So what's going on with your logic there, buddy? Huh? If I was so indirect, why are you not higher in the results? And why did I not bring up any of your tweets, videos, etc.? That's like a fan of yours bringing your stuff up in my server, and I said, hey, you know, game bugs vary. That's it. That's nothing to do with Dead Space. You really thought you had something though. That's how funny it is. Please make that video on Monday. Please make it. I at this point I double dog dare you to make it and not watch this one, because the more it happens, the more I think about it, the more you put your brain to it and see less of those mentions and comments, the more it's just like when I said in that video, when I said in part 4 that I didn't even know who you were until you were brought up. It's true. It's true. I have nay lie to give. You were gone for like years, bro. People move on. They think about other stuff. They ain't thinking about what comments you're making on them currently, outside of the fact that someone gave me this video and I decided to promptly respond. I was like, but if they didn't do that, you wouldn't be thought about. So why would I need to include you in an active series? That makes no sense. That makes no sense. If I never got that video from you, I would not have ever known you were around. Because I responded to you a year ago. That's a long time for some people. That's quite a bit for some people. A fleeting conversation, a fleeting one-liner. Anyway, I'm glad you folks saw this catastrophe of a debate from Revenant Remnant. Maybe next time he'll think clearly before jumping the shark, jumping the gun, and inserting himself in every fucking singular thing out there. I don't know what this dude's deal is, but usually this is what happens with ex-fans and ill will and unsubscribed people. The second that you even say something that's a coincidental word, that's the same word as them, they will instantly think you're talking about them, and that's just the most piss poor logic I have ever seen on the internet. That is some Stockholm syndrome or something. He wants to come back over here. I don't know. Anyway, I hope you found this entertaining, and like I said, it's not a word in there. The place that I talk the most, that I mention people directly, it's not a shred of Revenant Remnant in there outside of him just being an ex-member and not really fucking having any other results to his name. It's 6 results. That's so low compared to already. Like, we were talking about that Dead Space topic with him for a while. And that's the only person I was referring to in that context when I talked about limitations. That you saw it. You saw a member of his in there in terms of the tweets that I mentioned, the string of tweets. You can go watch AGS Live. Like, Jeremy's there. It definitely was involving Hard 8. You definitely see the breadcrumb trails. So I'm just like telling you now. Anyway, I know he's gonna misinterpret this video, so hopefully he does, and I could just keep attacking the points until I get blocked. So just, look, I can go forever. It's if I see something I don't like, I'm firing up the video. It's happening. So you better get ready, and that's how I feel about it. I will not be lied on. I will not be lied on. It ain't happening. See you guys later.